Hello again. This is the start of my study series for the CCNA. It will be a long journey for sure, and I encourage anyone watching to get a good study guide and some practice tests. Pearson Test Prep is my source for these items. I'm not sponsored at all by them, but so far they have not let me down in my certification journey. Alright, let's move into it. The first thing you need to understand in the world of networking is how data is transmitted over a network. Fortunately, there is an entire model known as the OSI, or Open Systems Interconnection Model. The model standardizes different networking technologies and protocols to work together and facilitates interoperability among different systems and vendors. For instance, Netgear and Linksys routers should have no problem talking to each other, as well as their switches and vice versa. So we're going to get right into it with my slideshow here. Welcome to the OSI Model Overview. Many religions have depicted the sun as their god, and I figured for networking, why should this be any different? Yes, the OSI model is essentially the Bible or God for networking and how various information is transmitted across the network. Humor aside, the OSI model is used forward and reverse, presented in a circle so you can view it clockwise or counterclockwise in this presentation. Alright, moving right into it, we're going to go to the first layer, which is the physical layer. This will be the network interface cards on your computer. Could be a hub. Hubs aren't really used very much anymore, but those are small devices similar to a switch that just broadcast data through all their ports so that other computers can link together. Cable modems and wireless antennas. This is for transmitting raw data bits over a physical medium. It requires an actual physical medium such as Ethernet cables, coaxial cables, fiber optics, and even wireless signals. Moving on to layer 2. Layer 2, the data link layer, is responsible for organizing data into frames for transmission, error detection, and correction. Here you'll find the ARP address resolution protocol. This connects an IP address to a machine via its fixed physical address, or the MAC address, which is media access control. Also, you'll find the point-to-point protocol here, and high-level data link control. Moving right along into the network layer. This is for routing data packets across different networks, determining the best path for data based on the destination IP address. IP protocol 4 and 6, as well as routing protocols. RIP, which is routing information protocol. OSPF, or open shortest path first. And EIGRP, enhanced interior gateway routing protocol. And we'll get deeper into these different protocols later, but for now, you'll find them at layer 3, and what hardware we find here are routers and some layer 3 switches. Moving right along to layer 4, the transport layer. This is actually my favorite because it has its own model as well. Function is end-to-end communication, ensuring reliable data transmission with error recovery and flow control. You'll find the TCP here, or transfer control protocol. This is a connection-oriented protocol, usually for transferring files back and forth. And the UDP, which is user datagram protocol. It's a connectionless-oriented protocol, usually transmitting streaming services, such as YouTube. Like right now, we're using UDP while you're watching this video. Alright, moving along to layer 5. It's going to be our session layer. Now, the session layer manages sessions between applications, allowing them to establish, maintain, and terminate connections. Provides synchronization and dialogue control between communications. It's going to be our NetBIOS and RPC, which is basically a remote procedure call. Session layer is kind of like the gatekeeper. Once it keeps and holds open the connection between the two devices and can terminate the connection as needed. On to layer 6 is the presentation layer. It's responsible for translating data into a format that can be understood by the application layer. It involves data encoding and decoding, compression, decompression, and encryption and decryption. You will find ASCII, which is American Standard Code for Information Interchange, JPEGs, it's a compression for pictures or images, media, joint Photographic Experts Group is what that stands for if you're curious, and then Transport Layer Security, TLS, upgraded from SSL, which we will get into at a later date as well. Alright, let's get into the application layer. Provides services that directly interact with applications and users, including email, file transfer, and web browsing. So you're going to find the Hypertext Transfer Protocol here, File Transfer Protocol, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and DNS, Domain Naming Service. In reverse, let's see if I can go in reverse. Yes. So, if you're sending an email, for instance, it's going to start here at the application layer. Then it's going to be encoded and encrypted here at the presentation layer. A session will be created between the device you're sending it to. At the transport layer, data is segmented into datagrams or segments to be transferred out. At the network layer, it's going to define the route to send it to, as well as which device it's going to send it to. Once it hits that switch, it's going to find the appropriate computer or the appropriate network interface card with the MAC address. And finally, it's going to hit that network interface card and be in your computer. And that concludes our OSI model overview. I hope you enjoyed it. I try to keep these videos brief so that you can get, you can digest this information and be ready for the next snippet. As always, I do encourage you to have other sources for studying, to read much more in depth and be able to keep up with this. And as always, try to get a hold of some information and practice tests. You can do this through Pearson Test Prep. You can also do it through ChatGPT. Just ask ChatGPT to act as a teacher and to give you a lesson plan on the OSI model as well as some questions. And it can actually grade those questions for you. It's great study materials, and I wish you luck in your certification endeavors. Thanks again.